Hey guys, it's Katie here. I'm back with episode 19 of the Katie Knits podcast. It's been a little while. It was sometime in November. I forgot to look this morning, but it was sometime in November that I last sat down to record a proper podcast. So, all that being said, I hope that everybody enjoyed their holidays in whatever way you celebrated, and that the new year is treating you well so far. And if it's not, look at it as life's way of getting all the crap out of the way, and then hopefully it's smooth sailing after that. It is 2026. Oh my gosh. For me, today is Monday, January 5th of the brand new year. I did mention earlier, if you haven't checked out Vlogmas, I did record 3 weeks of our festivities starting just before Thanksgiving and ended about the middle of December. If you haven't checked out my Vlogmases, go check them out. They're a good time and you get to see a little bit of what we did and got up to. My hat is completely off to those of you who do daily Vlogmases. Holy crap, I could barely keep up with weekly, let alone daily. Oh my goodness. It got to a point where it almost felt just a teeny tiny bit suffocating because I felt like I had to record everything and I couldn't just be present in the moment and enjoy. So I pumped the brakes on it and we are back. In the little time span since we last had a proper podcast, I also released my Gnandad mystery Gnome Along vlog. Pat myself on the back. You will see him shortly. I completed my first mystery knit along. I have 3 finished objects for you. 2 that were completed last year and my first FO of 2026. Super exciting one too. I have some whips, a frogged project, few acquisitions from Christmas. Love my family. So I think I've only gotten one other thing in the mail. Guess what, guys? I haven't bought yarn yet in 2026. Yet. Mugwatch, I am just drinking some Earl Grey that I steeped in my Tea Forte mug, which I love, my go-to, all that happiness. I'm going to put him up here so I don't spill him, and hope I remember how to do this thing. So, you want to start with finished objects? Because I do. So, like I mentioned earlier, I completed my very first mystery knit along. That wasn't my own, because I kind of have to complete those because I designed them. This is also not only my first, completed mystery knit along, but my first completed gnome for myself. So I took part in the Gnandad's Adventure Mystery Knit Along, which was Sarah Shira, otherwise known as the Gnome Queen of Imagine Landscape Designs. This was her holiday gnome for 2025. His name is Gnandad. I used yarn from Queen City Yarns in their Nada DK. It was their Griswold kit. And I fell in love with the fact that not only did they offer a kit in DK, but they also offered the cutest skis, the cutest little embossing on them. I love how Gnandad turned out. I have to be honest, I was a little skeptical about 3/4 of the way in. I felt like there wasn't enough and he was going to feel quite bare. But in the end, I'm happy with him. He has these snappy suspenders and his bushy mustache, which I just split the yarn on to make it crimpier and curlier. And he has a little top knot of his hat. And I will admit, something in here in the hat I had never done before. Never have I ever read in a pattern or written myself, no stitches will be knit, all will be slipped. Totally blew my mind because I overthink everything. But I just put my head down and I just went with it and did it, and it was great. So I was a very good girl. Didn't check spoiler threads. I didn't, I wasn't behind in any clues. I did it. Did have to put him on a little bit of a diet because he was a little bit chunky. But I'm so happy with him. And I was totally wrong about one of the clues had you make what you pretty much knew were going to be his little arms and hands. But we also made these little red puff balls. I thought, oh my gosh, and they were unstuffed at the time, so they were flatter. They're mittens to go on his little hands. I was totally wrong. They're feet, chubby little feet. So if you want to watch my whole process and creating him, I do have a vlog out, project vlog for Gnandad, which I will link at the end of this video and down below, and you can just go search my channel. So overall, pretty happy with Mr. Gnandad. So he is an FO since the last time we chatted. I have plenty of yarn left over from Gnandad. I plan on making his companion, Nana, which was last year's mystery gnome. Just put everything down on top of my cup. Which was last year's mystery gnome. So he will have a little friend. So before, he didn't get put away with the Christmas decorations because I wanted to show you guys. So he'll live on my shelf. I purchased the Nana pattern from last year. I'm going to print it out and make her sometime this winter season. I really want to jump on it and make it so that it doesn't sit. And then next winter rolls around and we get the Christmas decorations out. And oh my gosh, I didn't make it again. So I'm going to get right on that. Let's run some Gnandad stats. Some project stats, that is. So this was a kit that I had purchased from Queen City Yarn Co. It was $62 for the kit. The pattern I got on sale when Sarah first released it. So that cost me $4.69. All my prices are in US too, because I'm in the US. So if you're in another country, you probably have an idea of how much, your dollar is compared to my dollar. So that's that. So this was a grand total of $66.69 to make this project. I started it on December 1st and I completed it on December 22nd. Only took that long because it was a mystery knit along and it was in clue form. And I also have enough yarn left over to make another gnome, which is his companion gnome, Nana. So really, I got 2 gnomes out of that. So I'm pretty happy with that value. I also have another FO of a totally different kind. So last year for Christmas, John had bought me a very nice sewing machine. I've always wanted to quilt. Always wanted to get into that. I thought it's so cool. Putting together, just like you put together yarns and patterns and all these things for knitting, you're putting together all these fabrics and designs for quilting. So I purchased myself a table runner kit, a pre-cut, didn't want to deal with screwing cuts out, a pre-cut table runner kit from Block Party Quilt Co. It came with video tutorials too, which were great and got me through it. I did make a few mistakes, but you know what? Overall, I am very proud of myself and I'm very happy with the end product, which also happens to feature gnomes. So stand up back here so you can see it a little better. I am really, really happy with this. I did all hand quilting. I don't have a long arm machine or access to one, so I just sort of wing it. Every gnome has a different design on their hat. This guy's got little patches, which are everybody's favorite. This guy has little crisscross. And this guy just has little up and down. And I also hand quilted the trees. If you notice, there's a seam in between each. That was one of my biggest blunders in the beginning, which I fixed. And I'm actually kind of glad that I wound up seaming in between each. So it wasn't one piece of unsewn fabric that stretched. There is some rippling throughout because I had no idea how much the fabric would stretch as I was manipulating it and sewing it together and messing with it. So actually in the end, these extra seams helped. I didn't follow directions, and I thought that when you did the blocks for the tree trunks, they had to be cut to be the same width as the gnome faces and feet. And they weren't. They were supposed to be left bigger. So I had to trim everything down. But I think it turned out pretty good. I have some really, really good joins where I matched my seams up in my corners. So the binding, that was a little troublesome. I do have one fantastic corner, which I'm super proud of. Proud of my one corner. The rest of them, they look great. I'm just being way overcritical, and I kind of want to be a little bit because I want to learn and I want to get better. So binding is something that I'm researching now a little bit more. So all in all, I am pretty damn happy. And my machine comes with a whole bunch of fancy stitches pre-built in. So I grabbed some of those for the tree trunks and the noses too. Put a fun stitch on that. That was fun, trying to do that on a round shape. That was awesome. But this really was a labor of love. I also had to cut down the border because it was too wide to fit on our buffet where I want it to live. And it was a little too wide for the kitchen table too. So I'm like, if I just cut every border in half, it'll be perfect. So I will insert a photo of it all laid out so you can see it because I'm really happy with it. I am really proud of it, and I think it's great. And it looks great with my new gnome sitting on it too. So I did purchase a fall runner kit from Block Party Quilt Co. as well with different, like this one is pieced together differently than that one. Wanted to try to give myself some random different projects to work on to learn. So I will be making that one. So this was finished object 2. My very first quilting finished object. Now you want to see finished object 3. Everybody knows, everybody has loved watching me work up Elizabeth's sweater with the yarn she picked out at Indie Entangled and Rhinebeck this year. Everybody's heard a ton about it. I'll just give you the cliff notes before I put up the project stats. But when we went to Indie Entangled and Rhinebeck for the first time, I took my family and I wanted them to pick out yarn for projects that I was going to come home and make them. That way, they have something in memory of going as well. And they got to shop too. I knew the first thing that I was going to cast on was going to be Elizabeth's sweater. Even before she picked the yarn out, a whole 9 yards. But guess what I bound off Saturday night at 11:38 p.m. Elizabeth's sweater. So it's not blocked. Totally not blocked. I bound it off Saturday. There was no way that it would have dried for today. So I figured I'm just going to wait this afternoon. I'm going to block it. And since she's getting into knitting herself, I'm going to do it with her so she learns too. And I think it was the mohair did color my hands. So I'm going to try to a little more aggressively soak this one. I don't think that I'm going to get much out of it, but we shall see. I love how this came out, and she loves it, and it looks great on her. So I'm going to show you a little few of the details. I'm going to tell you about my modifications, and then I'll put all the project stats up so you can see everything. But I did add, it's really hard to see because it's black yarn, but I did add this ridge, this little welty ridge before the ribbing. Nice clean look. I will be using it again. I mirrored it on, gosh, I can barely see it because it's so dark. I did mirror it on the hem. I did not put it on the sleeve cuffs because she wanted balloon sleeves. Once I block this, it's just going to cover it. So I was like, I'm not going to, waste my time because it is a little tedious putting it there when you literally are never going to see it. So this just was such a lovely labor of love. The texture is so stinking pretty, and I consider this a rustic soft. It is not like cashmere or silk soft, but it's not rough. To me, if somebody says a yarn is soft, I immediately want to steer clear away from it because all I can think of is it's gonna pill. There's like no way this is gonna pill. I'm so happy with this. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to block it and give it to her to wear. And she's gonna wear the ever living crap out of it. So I wanted to make it good. And I wanted to make sure I used yarns that are gonna hold up. So let's run some numbers. Stats. I used mainly the Bibliophile 2 pattern by Alicia Plummer. I needed a good compound raglan. I just needed that for her fit, for ease of the color changing yarn, all that jazz. So I used the Bibliophile 2. The sleeves were inspired by the Le Pouf Sweater by Bita Jetsik of Hedgehog Fibers. I did not use the increases on those because the number one complaint that I found was that people were not happy that the sleeves did not balloon enough. And the increases are only done along the edge that you do your decreases on. So you're only increasing 2 stitches. That's not gonna create enough fabric to properly balloon. So I took basically my sleeve number, I decreased until I got to just to the bottom of her elbow. And then I slowly started increasing. And then when I got to about the top of her wrist, I more rapidly increased. And then when I got to about her knuckles, I rapidly decreased I believe it was 4 rows. You'd have to check. My Ravelry page for this project is linked down below, and it has all the details on it as far as the balloon sleeve instructions. So every single count, everything I did. But after I decreased, then I just did the cuff for, I think, that's probably almost an 1.5 inches or so. Twisted 1 by 1, all tubular bind-offs. Oh, I should have said this earlier, but I did knit the 3rd size or the size medium of the Bibliophile 2. So I started this on October 30th and I finished it January 3rd. Granted, you all know me, I have 8,000 projects going on. So this was by no means my sole project I was working on at any given time. I don't even think there was a single day that I knit that all I worked on was this. So could it have been completed a lot quicker? Absolutely. But I like to pad my schedule with tons of things. So took me about 2 months to finish. And the yarn, the main color changing yarn is from Feederbrook Farms. It is their It is their Entropy DK in the colorway Bioluminescence, which we purchased from the Frogget Yarns mobile yarn truck. The black contrast, cuffs, hem, neckline, that is all done in Miss Bab's Yowza DK in Obsidian. Then, for a little bit of fun and extra durability, we held Miss Bab's Moonglow Mohair in the colorway dusk throughout the entire piece. So, the yarn, all total, cost $266. I will show you my leftovers here in a minute. I did dig into every skein that I purchased of the Entropy DK and the Moonglow. I used just under half of the Yowza, but you can always use a solid black in your stash, and I wanted more. I'd much rather have more than less, especially when I was purchasing it in person. It always err on the side of caution. Out of the yarn, I have 160 grams left of the Yowza, 32 grams of the Moonglow, and 46 of the Entropy DK, which I'm going to be giving to Elizabeth with her sweater because she's knitting now, and it's fantastic and fabulous, and she will get at least a couple projects out of it. So for leftovers, the Entropy DK, which is just this fabulous, I'm gonna take this out of this bag. The heck wants to see a glary bag? I have 3 chunks of it left. This one is almost a complete rainbow. Then I have this little ball left, which is just pink and orange. I had to wind it off of one to get the sleeves to start at the same point. I knew they weren't going to totally match, but I at least wanted them to start at the same point. Then we have a little bit left over of purple and pink. So there's so much that she can do with that. And then I have a decent chunk. We have just over half of a skein of Moonglow. So that is all going to be going to her. And then we have a chunk of Yowza left. So she will get the leftovers with the sweater. So this sweater. Like I said before, I have all the project stats up. I did go down a needle size because she wanted a little denser of a fabric. She didn't want anything to be showing or worried about having to wear anything underneath it. So I did go down a needle size. And I did work a couple extra raglan increases before we split for sleeves, just because I went down a needle size. So that helped. And like I said before, all the balloon instructions are on my Ravelry page. I am very happy with the way the sleeves came out. As you can see, like I told you earlier, but now I can show you, I did decrease until it hit just below her elbow, and then I gradually increased. And when I increased all around, not just along the seam. So pretty happy with that, pretty stinking happy. And I will insert a photo pre-block of her wearing it. Always, 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 take photos or document your pre-blocking as opposed to blocking, because blocking is a magical process. It really, really is. So as soon as I'm done recording this and after I eat lunch, I'm going to block this. And it's super freaking cold right now, so in a couple of days, she'll be able to wear it. So, like I said earlier, I do have one frogged project, and kind of a silly reason I frogged it, but I do want to make it, so I'm going to leave the yarn with the pattern in a bag. I may actually, I didn't actually rip it completely out yet, so I may stick it on some waste yarn, which was really dumb of me not to do that initially. I'm going to do that when I get done here. Wow, Katie, why didn't you do that? I did start my ooey gooeys, my holiday ooey gooeys. I got down to the second welt, and I am loving the pattern with the yarn, but I needed the yarn, or I did need the yarn, I needed the needles to knit some other socks, which I will show you, which are a new cast on. So I just ripped these off the needles, and I'm like, oh, I'll make them next year, because I really did like, you know, yarn pattern combo, all that jazz. Why didn't I put it on waste yarn then? Some things we do, and we have no idea why we do them, and this is freaking one of them. So I'm gonna carefully put this back in this bag and do that. Before I get into whips, cast-ons, all that jazz, I am going to be filming a 2026 plans video, and I'm going to do that this week, so it'll probably come out next week. So you'll see some of these again, and then you'll get an overview of my plans. So if you're wondering what my plans are, it'll be in there. Now, I did not finish my Finch sweater like I wanted to wear on Christmas. I am finished with the back panel down to the ribbing. So I am going to leave this out and finish this like now so that I have it done for next year. I feel like if I put it aside for next year and to knit like next year, I see a lot of people do that. They're like, I'm going to put aside a winter item to knit, you know, closer to when it's going to be winter. If I do that, it's not getting done. And I really, really, really want this. So I'm going to keep this out. And now that Elizabeth's sweater's done, I just need to do the ribbing on the back and then pick up for the front and get going on that. And it does work up so incredibly fast. This is the Finch sweater by dalbodreh. Everything will be linked down below. And the yarn is Moonglow Yarn Co. It is her Frosted Forest collection in her Merino DK. And I'm using the stripe modifications from Tiny Human Knits. That was a mouthful, and I cannot believe I got through it. All right, next up on the whip train, I'm going to go through everything that you guys have already seen before so that I can get to new stuff then. I'm still chugging along on my Harlow hat. I had made John his and gave that to him. And I picked up this Stranger Things sock set in Running Up That Hill from Dragon Hoard Yarn. And she has them back up for pre-order or for order. And I absolutely love this main colorway. Not to say I don't like the minis that come with the sock set, but I love the main colorway. It is freaking gorgeous. So I may have to, you know, go get some to have because I love it so much. So here's where I am. I am working 2-color with one of the minis in the main until, whoops, just dropped the mini. Until the mini runs out. Then my plans are, because I'm not in love with this side, just not in love with it, but I love it as a background. So when the mini runs out, I am going to fold the brim up and probably just knit it together. Just pick up a stitch from the cast on edge and knit it together to make a folded brim, and then just work the rest of it in all main. The main color is Running Up That Hill. Absolutely beautiful. And as we all know, Kate Bush saves lives. So that's where I am on this. I have gotten some more work out of it. I think last time you guys saw it, I think I was about here, and I did have to ladder back quite a bit. And I should have taken photos throughout this process. Looking will help. But if I get super, super close, you can see it's a little looser in here because way down here, I think it was right down there. Yeah, it's about right down here. I slipped the yarn in the wrong direction. So I had one of these little peach background colors floating across my main color. So I laddered back down to that point. But because you have 2 strands for every row, I put each 2 strands for each row on a removable stitch marker. And then that made it so easy to just ladder it up. And problem solved. I was really, really, really debating leaving it, but that would have bothered me because you could see it in brioche. So I just fixed it. And now I know an easier way to fix brioche if that happens again, which it probably will. And it is living in a winter bag from Katie's Randomness, which has been literally everywhere. So, what is next? Now we're to new cast-ons. All the old news is out, and on to new news. So, remember how I told you that I needed the needles from my ooey gooeys for something else? Well, Elizabeth is really getting into knitting more. She wanted to knit socks. And I brought up the Herding Cats socks because she really, really loved Stone Knits patterns. And I told her on my whole saga with my first Herding Cats and how they were too tight, didn't pay attention to the color work. I thought I was fine ignoring my floats. Oh, it'll block out. No. So we are buddy knitting. Crap, I forgot to grab hers. I will insert a photo here of her Herding Cat socks. She is using Astra Fiber Co. She no longer dyes. She grabbed it out of my stash with somebody else who doesn't dye anymore. She grabbed a peach mini from the Yarn at Home Mom Advent I had from who the heck knows how many years ago to make her cats. She's doing an amazing job. Like, I am floored with how well she's managing her floats, how well she's picking it up. She's doing a great job. So she actually picked my yarn out. So I think I have, did I keep the ball bands in here? So she picked out for me from my stash Bella Flotto in Shield in her non-superwash sock. That doesn't work when you throw things. In her non-superwash sock base. So this is my main color. It's called Shield. It's very pretty peach. Not sure. I think it is not showing up how it's a little peachier in person. That's my main color. Then for the accent color, she picked out some Spin Cycle dyed in the wool that I grabbed off a D-stash last year in the colorway The Castle, which is, I guess, this beautifulness. So I am going to have myself some color changing cats. And this is where I am. I did the cuff and one set of cats. This set of cats is going to be the hardest to see because it was super light in the beginning. But unlike the first one, my floats are perfect. They're great. I did show my previous herding cats on an episode somewhere. I have no idea where it is, but I do show how tight and scrunched up they were. And these are anything but. They're great. Managing my tension, all is well. Of course, I have Littlest Yarn Co charms. These were from our Tiny Treasures Advent that we got this year. So I'm only doing one cat, and I'm going to go right into my heel. She wants to make hers longer, so I'm pausing to wait for her to finish her leg so we can do the heel together, because that's all brand new for her. And I am super happy with my color changing kitties. And those are living in a Christmas present, which I will go through in acquisitions. Now, another Christmas present. I had sent the girls and John like a million ideas. I want this, I want this, I want this. And I was very specific about things. And they got me most of what I asked for. And one of the things I asked for was a Fiber MacGyver sock blank. She had these absolutely gorgeous double knit sock blanks up. And she had taken them to Rhinebeck too, and I had skipped her booth at Rhinebeck because, you know, budgets and all that jazz. So when I saw that they were up online, I'm like, please get me one. And they did. They got me, and I'm already into it, so it's a little smaller, but they got me a Fiber MacGyver double knit sock blank in this absolutely gorgeous rainbow color. It's stunning. It's beautiful. I love it. I was so happy when I opened that on Christmas morning. So again, it's Fiber MacGyver. It is on their fingering base, which is 75% merino and 25% nylon, which is 100 grams and 437 yards. Perfect for knitting 2 at a time. So I've had this idea for slouchy on purpose socks for a while, floating around my head, a few sketches and notes made, but I just hadn't sat down to do it yet. Perfect opportunity. Let's see how they're working out. Oh my gosh, they're so fun. They really are. I'm trying not to blow through these because I want to enjoy the sock blank. So I'll show you. I'll talk about my charms too. Those are separate and fun. I really hope this is coming through. All the speckles. Oh my goodness. I'm working them 2 at a time so that they'll be done at the same time. I used my favorite rounded toe from a bunch of my sock patterns. And basically it's going to be a stockinette foot, short row or afterthought heel. I'm not exactly sure. That sort of heel. Then the entire leg is going to be knit on larger needles with a certain rib pattern that I came up with, which will cause them to slouch on purpose. Is that not the funnest thing? Oh my goodness gracious. I am up here, so I'm going to be transitioning into orange and yellow next. How freaking fun are these? Like, yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, and let's take a moment to appreciate the charms. Focus, Steve. This is Steve, the Harrington. Stranger Things, if you know, you know. And his little Scoops Ahoy hat. Little did I know I was getting these. But months ago, I had put aside a skein from my stash that I've had since 2014, back when, shortly after I first started knitting. And I don't, for some reason, the colorway always reminded me of Kelsey from The Littlest Yarn Co. I don't know. Every time I looked at it, I just thought of her. I put it aside. I'm like, I'm going to send this to her for Christmas. And little did I know, she was making us Stranger Things charms for Christmas. Oh my gosh. If you watch my Vlogmas, don't know what episode, I'll stick it down below. But I did show all of them. We all got Egos. Elizabeth got Elle. Sophia got Erica. And then I got a Demi Gorgon too. her talent is mind-blowing. I'll insert a photo here, but photos don't do them justice at all. And they're just so much cooler in person, and the details. We all know my affinity and love for Kelsey's charms and her artwork. She's outstanding, and oh my goodness. So I had to put my Steve in his little Scoops Ahoy hat on these. They're so freaking fun. This is the epitome of what I want to accomplish in this new year with knitting. In a lot of ways, I feel like this is my first year knitting, even though I've been knitting for close to 17 years. I feel like it's my first time that I'm actually sitting down to enjoy things, and this is absolutely one of them. It's so fun. Oh my goodness. Okay. But that's also new cast on, which will become a new pattern. Another soon to be cast on, which I can show you the yarn and talk to you a little bit about for a second. I bound off Elizabeth's sweater. So what's the only responsible thing to do? Cast on another sweater or garment. So back last year at some point, I think it was last summer, Playful Day Yarn had a Funfetti summer colorway update and pre-order. And they had these absolutely gorgeous mini sets. One here. So you can see they're beautiful. And they're rainbow tweed. Like, come on. I had purchased 2 of those along with a bunch of main skeins. And I told Sophia, I'm like, she was starting getting in cardigans and all that jazz. I'm going to knit you a cardigan. So super excited. So yeah, flash forward like 6 months later. Guess who's actually going to do it now? But the main color is going to be milk tea. I am holding her fingering base double. This is Playful Day Yarns. And this base is 85% superwash merino, 15% Gnandad nips, 437 yards for 100 grams. So we collaborated on the idea, and we sat down yesterday and I sketched it all out. And like I said, this will be the main color. We're going to do half fisherman's rib. It's going to be a cardigan. And it's going to stripe throughout the whole middle section, matching stripes on the sleeves. She wants the cuffs to balloon out into ruffles. Totally doable. I'm going to do a double knit button band. She did pick out some buttons at Rhinebeck from Tinker's Hollow. They're wooden. Once this is complete, then I'll see if she wants to use those or get something else. But that's going to be my next cast on, is Sophia's cardigan, which will also become a new pattern. I do plan on making an adult version as well without the ruffled sleeves because I want it for me, but I don't want the ruffles. So I'll put options in there. And yeah, that is my next cast on. So I think that about does it for whips. My one frogged, or not totally frogged. I'm going to go put it on waste yarn because I was a total moron project. And then my 3 FOs. Like I said, I am going to make a plans video this week. Probably going to record it around Wednesday. So by the time you see this, it should already be recorded. But let's go into acquisitions now. I'm going to start with Christmas because I got some really great stuff for Christmas. Aside from yarn, oh my goodness, John's crazy. He bought me this gigantic wood-fired uni pizza oven. Oh my goodness, that we then had to go buy a cart for. Oh, it's a story for another day when I can actually use it because it's snowed again. It's Connecticut. We don't get snow here. 3rd time this winter we've gotten snow. I'm not complaining because I do love the snow, but I can't use my pizza oven. So, do that. I had no idea these existed. My kids found them all on their own. They are Let me get everything out. Let's do this some semi-normal kind of way. They're 3D printed skeins of yarn. They got me purple and green. They're marketed as being stitch marker holders. I don't honestly know I'm going to put anything in them. Dropping everything again. I told John, I'm like, I think I'm going to lose them. I think I'm going to put stuff in here and forget about it. So the girls know that I have been looking for decor to go on my yarn shelves because I don't just want it to be yarn. I want it to be something fun. So they found these for me. So freaking cool. They are from Amos by Angelie. And I will link everything down below. She does a bunch of 3D printed things. I'm going to take this out of this bag because it's not going to show up well. But also sent along a cute, fun little dragon. It's absolutely adorable too. Go check her out. She has stitch markers. She has all kinds of knitting and crochet items. I had no idea these existed, but they're so fun for my shelves. So that was a Christmas present from the girls. Trying to keep things neat, so we're going to put that back. For right now, they're in my Target basket. I will find them a home to live at some point. And one of the things John got me, I have always wanted a Love It Amsterdam bag. She hand paints all of her canvases, so they're all 100% one of a kind. So this was the first thing that he bought me, and I absolutely love it. I freaking love it. It is so durable and fun, and it's completely 100% hand painted. And mine. Nobody else will have a bag like this. So absolutely love that. That's from Love It Amsterdam. Again, be linked below. And also from the girls. Oh my gosh, I forgot one other thing that they got me. I have to run and get that. My socks, my sock blank that they got me with those socks, and my herding cat socks are living in another new bag from Cooper's Corner. I had sent them their shop, and I'm like, I really want a bag from them. And they picked out one in these adorable little knitting sheep. And there's little yarn balls all over the fabric. Love it. Freaking love it. And now I have to go grab the other thing they got me that I completely forgot about. We first saw Spruce Mountain at Rhinebeck, and Elizabeth got a pair of acorn earrings from them. Well, the girls bought me a pair of skein earrings. I was gonna put them in, I totally forgot to, but they also got me those for Christmas. So fun. And those are from Spruce Mountain. They're awesome, awesome husband and wife that do absolutely beautiful metal work with gemstones and all kinds of things too. So they remembered that from Rhinebeck, and they got me that as well. All right, I think that may be it for Yarny Christmas presents. If I forgot anything, I will slap it in. But my only personal acquisition for right now is I had signed up for the Playful Day sock set subscription. She's doing a club this year. She opened it up on December 1st and was like, oh, I'm going to keep it open until probably the middle of the month. Well, I signed up immediately. Set timers on my phones and all that jazz. And are you comfortable, Beasley? Oh my goodness. I'm not going to turn my camera around because I'm going to lose it. So I'm going to take a picture and show you Beasley right now. That is Beasley right now. And that's my pizza oven behind him. But he's very comfortable. Okay. Anyway, back to my yarn. So I had set alarms on my phone because I'm like, I want to sign up for this. I love her colors, love her yarn. I want to sign up for it. So I signed up and got January's. This is January's of the Playful Day Yarns Happy Feet Year of Socks Club. This is in Merino Yak Fingering, which is 70% superwash merino, 20% knack, 20% yak, and 10% nylon. It is a full skein of the main, which is 437 yards for 100 grams. It's 3-ply. And the mini is 87 yards, 20 grams. This is January. I wish, beyond everything else, that we had Squish-A-Vision so you could squish this. I got it in the mail and I opened it and I was like, look at my yak. Look at my, I was at everybody in the whole house and they're like, oh, nice, you know? And then they would squish and they're like, oh, that's really nice. But I am beyond enamored with my yak. This is gorgeous. I cannot tell you how round this yarn is. Holy cow. Literally incredible. And this is, again, from Playful Day Yarns, her year of socks. This is January 2026. So I will be getting one of these every month this year. Cannot wait for that. It's going to be so much fun. So this is my only personal acquisition as of right now. I do have my Row 1 monthly subscription, which is out for delivery today. It hasn't been delivered yet, but I'll have that for next time we chat. Under zero circumstances am I saying I'm on a no-buy or a, limited buying or anything like that. I do want to use my stash a little bit more this year, but I'm not going to put myself in a box and shut myself off. I am second-guessing things, and I really feel, like I said earlier, like this is my first year actually knitting, actually enjoying what I knit, enjoying more of what I design. Don't get me wrong, I love all the patterns that I've designed and released in the past, but I feel like this year I'm actually taking the time to enjoy things, enjoy life. I feel like, when John got out of the Navy last year, and you'll hear me talk about this, ad nauseum, how much I dislike the military. Not only the service member, but it's like the family is in jail. It's like you're trapped. And now that he's out, we can live. We can breathe. We're enjoying ourselves. We went ice skating last weekend and just took the day and went up to Providence. We didn't have to tell anybody where we were going. Or, John had to keep his phone on him all the time because who knows who's going to call him. He's going to drop everything to do something. We're out of jail. We are just free. We are kind of in a transitional space right now where we can take a breath. We can relax. We can sit on the couch and watch a movie. We can just pick up and go somewhere. Oh my goodness gracious. So I am taking this year to fully enjoy myself, and I really think I am. I know I am. So, oh my goodness. Okay. So, make sure that you're following me on Instagram, which I am at SheltyPap. I will be posting, starting next week, my favorite dyers and suggestions that I have in their current colorways or in stock yarns for my Funfetti Mystery Knit Along. Let me put this down for a second and show you. You saw the cute kitty shirt and the charm from Kelsey. That's upstairs actually on my sample of the Mystery Knit Along, so you're not going to see that. But I have the link for the TeePublic shop from Catalyst Labs. They're the artists that creates the kitties I use every year. Totally unaffiliated, unsponsored. I love TeePublic's quality of their pieces. And holy crap, they're cute anyway. So that's down, that link is down below. Kelsey did put up her ready to ship update, and it was less than 24 hours and they all sold out. She did put up a very limited number of made to order Unikitty charms. So you can go check those out. She is still making to order the Chef Sydney from last year. So go grab those. We're collaborating again for next year, and those are already in the works. You're going to be in store for another batch of awesomeness next year. But the Funfetti Mystery Knit Along will go on sale, just as a reminder, January 12th. That's a Monday. I'm so excited. So excited. The Mystery Knit Along each year has been my most enjoyable knits and my most enjoyable pieces to create. Really, really, really try to put a lot of thought into these. So there's a rainbow option, and then there is also a 3-color option, which is your main and your 2 accents. Make sure you're following me on Instagram, because starting next week, I'm going to put up suggestions from my favorite dyers and yarn that they carry. So it's going to be a great time. I just can't wait. Oh my goodness gracious. Love it. But go check out the shirts. They have shirts, stickers, anything TeePublic sells. You can get the little kitty on. Put him up there. All right. I think that's it for the knitting news. So if you're just here for knitting, you can head out. Don't forget, subscribe. What are you waiting for? You can turn on the bell, hit the bell notification to get notified when I post a new video. Otherwise, it'll just show up in your subscription feed. Don't forget to give this video a like. That helps. Drop me a comment. Did you get any fun, yarny things for Christmas? Did you treat yourself? Or did others treat you? Or what are you working on in this new year? Did you plan a New Year's Day cast on? Like I did. I waited until New Year's Day to cast on the sock blank that the girls got me, because I wanted that to be a new tradition of sorts, maybe. Who knows? We'll see where I am next January 1st, but this year I did that for the first time. Let me know what you're working on. And if, you're here for life news and other things, stick around. So, life has been crazy. It was Christmas, holidays. We were super, super, super busy. We did a lot of fun things. We had a lot of great quality time. Long story short, we both have huge families, but we don't really talk to anybody. We keep ourselves very small. Not by our choice, but by everybody else's. So I'll just leave it at that. So we had a lot of great family time. We had a lot of decompression time. This was John's first time in the civilian sector workforce, where he got a shutdown, stand down period, and he took a little bit of PTO. So he had 2 weeks off. He freaking loved it, to say the least. We were super busy, but then we had times where we were really, really trying to relax and just decompress. And it was great. As far as reading, watching, listening, all that jazz. Oh, another Christmas present that I got were some really nice Beats noise canceling headphones from John. He got them with the intention for me to use them when I'm editing my podcasts and my videos, and to just drown out everything, which is amazing. But I'm also wanted to for a while get into audiobooks. I purchased my 3rd variation, or 3rd format, of the book Alchemized by Sun Lin Yu. Beefy sucker, 1,100 pages. The book weighs like 2 pounds. It feels like a bag of flour. Therefore, it hurt my shoulders to read it in bed, because I mostly read at night. So I purchased the Kindle version, because I was reading it that way. Now I purchased the Audible audiobook version because I wanted to get into audiobooks. I'm going to put this down because it's heavy as heck. You already saw it. So I love listening to it. Took me a little bit to get into it. The narrator is very slow, so I had to speed her up and find the right speed to make it make sense in my head. But I am blowing through it now compared to actually reading it. So I do crave and miss actually reading words on a page, but this book was just too big. So the audio for me is the way to go. And John got into audiobooks as well. He's listening to the Game of Thrones series. He already read the first book, so now he's re-listening to it to bring him up to speed and all that jazz before he moves on. And it's a whole new experience listening to something as opposed to reading it. I feel like you do get something different from it. So it's pretty cool. So we both do our little audiobooks at night, and it's great. And during the day, you know, sometimes when I'm sitting or standing knitting, I'll just throw on chapter or two of my book. So another way to get through my books. I do want to try them on the treadmill too. As opposed to watching TV, I can listen to a book. Let's see, what else? Regular season football wrapped up yesterday. We, of course, just put a clinic on the Jets and, 35-8. We almost shut them out. Josh continued his streak. Took his one snap, then sat out. It was Mitch Trubinsky time. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. James Cook ended the year rushing leader for the league. It's amazing. Really is. It was great. Great, great time. And it was so emotional. Final Bills game in, I will always call it Ralph Wilson Stadium. It will always be the Ralph to me. But, whatever you want to call it, I could never get used to calling it Highmark. Last game in that stadium. Next year, the Bills are moving across the street to their brand new stadium. So it was a little emotional. Not one fan left the stands. I don't even know how long they were there till security kicked them out afterwards. But it was a great time. Definitely a great time. And playoffs start next week. So we will see where we end up for the year. I normally emotionally way invest myself in football every year, and I've tried to take a little step back this year. So, yeah, but great time with that. As far as watching goes, a lot of shows wrapped up since we last chatted, but the biggest one of all, Stranger Things. I am going to come right out and say this, love me or hate me for this, but to all those who were not happy with the way the show ended, maybe you need to take a step back and remember who the show was created for. The show was created for the misunderstood, the quote-unquote weird kids, the kids that didn't have a place. They all found each other, and they found a place. They found a family. They found a calling. They were understood. They were put in a place where they were showcased. So, that being said, I emotionally way overinvest myself in TV shows. I cried like a freaking baby during the entire 2 hours of the finale. Probably went through about 10 tissues. I was a mess. The next day, my eyes were all puffy. It was total. But I am very happy personally with how it ended. I think the Duffer Brothers did the show justice. They did the storyline and all of the characters justice. Right down to all of the tiny details. Try to say this without crying already. But it's the little things, like when Max and Lucas and Dustin and Mike and Will, when everybody was putting away their binders, their D&D binders, they had their squibs. Jesus. that had their scripts in the binders. So they were, in essence, closing a chapter. Oh my goodness. Oh, and all the tears shed were real. Oh my goodness. I hope Jamie Bauer gets an Emmy or whatever they give to TV shows. He needs one for his performance this year. My love to hate character, or once hated, now loved. I really respected his acting. Oh my gosh. Oh, it was amazing. It was beautiful. I'm gonna leave it at that. I need some time to heal, and then I'll be doing a rewatch. I'm super proponent, or I really love rewatching shows. Really, really love them to fully appreciate them. So, and like Sophia was telling me this morning, she was really glad that nobody major did get killed off or died, because when you do a rewatch, you know that they're still going to be there in the end. And that you're not, oh my gosh, I love this person, but I know they're going to die. So it's going to make a rewatch that much more enjoyable. Upcoming TV. Oh my goodness, 1,000-Pound Sisters comes back. Oh, we love that show. We all watch it as a family. It's part of our little thing. You know, Survivor, Extracted, all kinds of stuff is coming back. Yeah, there's just so much. So, a lot of TV coming up soon for us. Yeah. I am gonna get out of here. I'm gonna cut this off. I don't even know how long I've been recording because I was messing with the settings on my camera and I took that off somehow. Hope I didn't do anything else. Oh my god, if I recorded this in slow-mo like I did once before, I'll lose my mind. But I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go upload this to my computer and have some lunch with the girls, see how they're doing in school, feed the boys, go get my mail, and block Elizabeth's sweater. Oh, and put my ooey gooeys on waste yarn. Oh my goodness, that's probably one of the dumbest things I've ever done. But at least I can laugh about it. And hopefully you can laugh with me too. Or laugh at me. Go right ahead because it's ridiculous. So, but hope your new year is treating you well. I hope you are finding joy and happiness in whatever way you do. So, until we speak again, happy knitting, everybody.